He's going to be here, but greetings and salutations. I'm not sure who all is going to show up. Like I said, this is the first live that I know will likely work. So hopefully everyone that is attending will be able to let me know how things go. But I'm going to put the title in, and then once all the title is put in, we will start in on the discussion for this time, or at least the main part of the information this time for our how the OGL in general, but also specifically OGL 1.1, is going to affect the end of Planar Crossroads, and a little bit about how it's going to affect our collaboration stuff, but not a whole lot on that. A little bit because we need to have a bit more information come out on what all the other people are going to be doing, what all the other companies are going to be doing. But for right now, we will have the end of Planar Crossroads and what is going to happen with it once I get this put in there. So come in, get comfortable, and if you want to, you can. Here we go. If you want to, you can put things in the comments section. I'm going to try to keep an eye on that. I'm not sure how to do that with my phone since I'm using my phone. So if you do, okay. If not, then I appreciate you stopping by anyway. So we'll get this in here, and I'm sure I will edit some of the description stuff once this is fully live for everybody. But for now, hopefully, we'll get some encouraging statements in a second once this is all set up. Just waiting on everybody that's going to come. And I don't know if you guys can even hear it. Oh, hello, Levi. I am glad you stopped by. Levi from our Around the Hearth chats is in at least the comment section. I saw it pop up. So if you usually are in the comment section and I don't mention your name, then oh good, Levi can hear me. Hearing me is the most important part, I think, for this particular one, though seeing would be good. And I'm assuming the seeing is there. So roads. All right, seeing is there also. Good deal. Hello, Rothgar 59. Good day to yourself as well. We are going to be discussing here in a second once I get the title put in. I think that will, in the future, when we do our full-on art streams, will be how we let everybody get in that's going to get in here. So I'm just going to do the cipher real quick, and we will be ready. Oh, let me get probably need to get my straight edge. There we go. Well, hopefully everybody will be able to enjoy the art while we talk. I don't suspect we're going to be very long once I actually start getting into it. But, oh, and if anybody has bothered to decipher any of the cipher, you can let me know. That would be fun to know that people are doing that. I know that Zachariah from Avenue Studios has pretty much got most of the letters down. There hasn't been much punctuation, so we will see how fast people get the punctuations down. All right. That is the end of the title. So that means we got to get into this. All right. Now, for you cheaters that are going to be reading the reading ahead in the pencil, go ahead. That's fine. I don't care. You can do that. But first point, got 5 points I want to bring up with a little bit of talk about afterwards while we doodle. So how the OGL is going to affect the Planar Crossroads. Really short. The OGL 1.1 especially isn't really going to affect us all that much. The Planar Crossroads is not something that has been bound by the OGL in the first place, any of the OGL. It's not going to have any negative effects on us simply because when I set up the Planar Crossroads, it was a nondescript name, a non-specific name on purpose. It is the Inn of Planar Crossroads, meaning that all the different, in this case, multiverses and universes that you could travel, the planes that you could travel with your games, they are all welcome at the Inn of Planar Crossroads as far as systems and stuff like that. So it's going to have no real effect, no real ill effect. I should be more specific. It's going to have no real ill effect on the Inn of Planar Crossroads because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff that's pretty open. You know, I like good. Oh, good to see in the chat that it is coming through all right and still legible. I'll put some purple flames on the back of this one. We'll see. There we go. Magic purple. But the OGL is not going to affect. Hopefully, that will be very good for everybody. Hopefully, more people will see that you don't need the OGL to do good stuff in the tabletop sphere. And just because that's true, just because you don't need the OGL necessarily, we should still care about this. And I wanted to touch on this while we were talking. You should still care and still pay attention to what goes on with the OGL. Oh, everything is fuzzy. Well, hopefully it won't be too fuzzy when we get to when it gets fully uploaded. Sorry about that. I think you mentioned 144p though, so you're safe from spoilers in the in that case. But you should still care. Getting back on track. I can't get distracted. You should still care about what's going on with the OGL because this is important to all TTRPGs at the moment. And we've seen this happen. Spoilers a bit for one of the other points. But we've seen this change the way lots of TTRPG publishers are starting to do their content. Cobalt Press came out just today, a few hours before I decided to do this, that they are going to be doing their own type of license fan agreement thing. I didn't get to look through it before I came on, but they are planning to do their own type of thing. So, Black Flag. Black Flag is, I'm assuming that is something that Levi just mentioned. So I'm assuming something related to the TTRPGs at the time. The their new system. Oh, okay. That's what Levi's saying. So Cobalt Press down there. We'll get to them in a second. In short, you should still care about this because it's important for all TTRPGs. This has been great mustache. Cobalt Press doing their own system, MCDM, Savage Worlds announced website, Savage Content. Cool. Excellent. This is what we want to see. This is part of why I'm doing this. It's a very interesting time for the hobby. That is for sure. It is important to keep an eye on that because it is important for the entire hobby. And it's not just important for the entire hobby. It is important outside of TTRPGs too. And I don't see a lot of people touching on this. So I wanted to touch on this. It's important for non-TTRPG communities. As well. Now, why am I saying that? Because think about it. You have, in America, at least, the legal definitions of things and how things work legally depend a lot less on what is written in the law and instead on how the law is interpreted and then how those are set in motion through what is called precedent. Precedent law is not really my favorite, but it is how it works here. The idea that if this company here does this thing and they are able to do it legally, whether it's actually legal in the sense of being morally right, is irrelevant. If they can do it, even if it's not to the letter of the law legal and can get away with it, then they will. And that will set a precedent in other places. This is why I think a lot of this point of it being important for not just the TTRPG community, but other communities as well, is because if Hasbro can come to you and say that this thing, which clearly falls under mechanics, which cannot be copyrighted, they can be patented but not copyrighted, and patents don't work the same as copyrights. They can be really nasty about it and really push it. If they get away with it, then other companies, other organizations outside of the TTRPG thing, the TTRPG sphere, will start to push back against their fan communities too, to establish higher monopoly levels. And nobody likes monopolies, right? I mean, everybody, that's one of the reasons we don't play Monopoly at home on the holidays. We don't want to lose we don't want to lose family members, right? It is a meme, but it is still somewhat true. So if Hasbro was able to pull this off, which it is really not looking like they can do, there's another live going on right now, I think, on another channel where they're talking with the person that actually wrote it's either today or Thursday or something like that actually wrote the OGL. And he's going to talk about what he meant when he wrote it. And that will be very important should this ever go to court. And what he says will be very important should it ever go to court. That aside, it can affect the rest of our things that we enjoy. So this is not something that just the TTRPG community should be paying attention to. If a big company like Hasbro can do this, then other companies can follow that example and use precedent within the law of saying, well, this intellectual property was extended to this thing which must be real. Right? We must be able to do this, right? And so then all of those problems can come about. So that is not what we want to do. Instead, we want to do the fourth thing, which is support systems that are not subject to or affected by the OGLs, or have their own OGLs that are distinct from WotC's OGL. And I'm avoiding using WotC because it's not that's doing this. It is Hasbro. So OGL ... So you support systems that are unaffected by the OGL. This is going to be, and I'll use some color here. This is going to be stuff like Open Legend through Seventh Sphere Publishing. That's a really nice, open, generic system that can be used to put in lots of fun stuff into your games. It is my favorite open system at the time because it is lots of fun while still giving just the right amount of crunch and very nice. So uh, I have not only played it, but played with Mustache, who is the current owner for it. And Open Legend is one of my favorites, so I recommend it. You could also do something with Chaosium. They've had their own agreement system for a long time. They have a OG. I'm forgetting what they call it. It is not exactly an OGL, but they have something similar for their basic BRP, BRES, or BRS, or something like that. Basic role play system that they use in a lot of most of their games, like Call of Cthulhu, is the one that is probably most known. And spoilers for those that have been looking around at the end of Planar Crossroads and the stuff that we've been doing with Avenue Studios. We are going to be branching into several different ones for fun so people can see us have a nice, interesting time come around when we're looking at playing how certain genres are better suited to certain game types. The things that we're doing, and that should be fun. And branching out and playing lots of different systems is one of the things that helps, especially with this situation. One of the reasons that it became so desirable to own the the product of the product of D&D is because it was just so universal. Everybody knew what D&D was, right? Which is both good in the sense of you have your own fun thing that everybody is able to enjoy with you, but at the same time, everybody's enjoying the same thing then, and it eats up create eh, a lot of the creativity gets stifled. This is one of the things that has been brought up by the OSR community and stuff like that with different editions coming out. Now, that's true no matter where you go, but what we're looking at is different is looking to support different systems that are going to be able to better support us and this type of games we want to play, because we should not be beholden to any one system. There's also Pinnacle. They have their own thing, and I think they're actually doing something on Worlds with on Twitch, on their Twitch. They're going to be doing something on Twitch on Thursday. So Pinnacle is what publishes Savage Worlds. You can check them out as well. They will have an option. They have a better option for certain types of games. They're most well known, like I said, for Savage Worlds, but you could get away with several different types of game systems, and Savage Worlds just has so much to draw from. They have a whole bunch of different. It's not exactly a system. It is like a generic system itself that then has so much supplements brought in, and they seem to be really interested in working with their community rather than against it. So that is a point for them. Another one, Cobalt Press, recently came out today, like we were talking about, with their own thing that they're going to be looking at. And we will put them right here. Now, I'm not sure how theirs is going to work because I know that they are publishers, not a specific system. So I believe they're trying to come out with their own system, if I'm understanding correctly. So that might be a thing, but they're most known for making supplemental things for other systems. If I'm correct, you may correct me in the comments if I am wrong. But check them out. They are coming out with their own basic role play thing, if I remember correctly. So That would be another option. And then we can also possibly, maybe, Paizo? And I'm putting question marks here because I haven't heard anything official from Paizo. The trick with Paizo is theirs was highly tied to that, but we'll have to see. Levi, we've actually shouted out before one that Levi mentioned in the comments, which is Coyote and Crow. I don't know if they have their own. I don't know if theirs is protected under the OGL or not. I'm not sure. It's far future, stuff like that. So you can check it out if you want to. That would be something I would have to check on. But like I said, Paizo is a question mark right now. Reason being, we're not sure. I don't think personally, I don't think it's possible for WotC to specifically revoke all OGL content and start to claim it. Legally, that would be a very big nightmare. So we'll have to see how they go about it. Problem with courts is, and this is anywhere you live, not just America, it is not about what's written in the law. It's about what you can, one, prove or not prove, but also what judge you get and how they interpret it. And therein lies the problem. Levi says, okay, Levi says their stuff's not, the stuff with Kaido and Crow is not connected to the OGL. So there's an option if you want it. There's another one. So, worth paying attention to the comments. All right. I don't want to make this too much longer because it's almost, we're at 22 minutes. I've been jabbering about. I appreciate everybody sticking around. So let's go ahead and wrap this up because we've got all these points here. Here's just some I knew off the top of my head. Like we said, there's some more in the comments. So if you want to, if there's some more in the live chat. So if you want to check those out, you can. My last thing to say, aside from my sign off, of course, is let the indie TTRPG, the indie RPG renaissance truly begin. Because it actually could turn out to be a renaissance for the TTRPGs, but a renaissance for other things. Because remember, video games, many video games, are heavily tied to Dungeons and Dragons. Do they have to be now? We'll have to see. Lord willing, this will be a good thing for the indie RPG community, and we'll be able to do our own things, actually make a dent, actually make a dent in the market of the time. And my red is starting to run out. But that is the goal, to make that difference. So, hopefully, get my new red. Hopefully, we will see a much better uptick in the indie renaissance, in the indie RPG community, not just the RPG community for us, but for everybody that likes to play games. And with that, I think we're pretty much set. So I am going to say, let's say in purple, have a great day. God bless. And enjoy. See you next time. Bye-bye.